to Nail Chronicle. So the design you see up on screen isn't my own, but it's one I'm going to try and recreate. So let's give it a go. So I'm starting off with a ombre effect. I'll put the details of what colors I've used. I started out by painting the blue OPI, and then I've got a makeup sponge which I've cut up into pieces because you can get about 4 sponges out of a single one, and started applying the nail polish. I then go and start dabbing onto my nails. I've also got some peel off latex around the edge of my nails and all over the skin. This is just to make cleanup a lot easier. You can also use masking tape as well, the painter's sort of masking tape, just to protect your skin a little bit and make sure that you don't get too much nail polish all over your hands and make cleanup much quicker, so I highly recommend doing that. The only unfortunate thing with the latex, as you can see here, is that I've kind of got my fingers stuck together a little bit. Oops. But that's alright. Anyway, moving on to my next step. So here I'm going to do some nail stamping. And if you look back at the original design, you'll see that there's 2 tones for the tombstones, giving it a bit of depth in the picture, which was really cool. At first I was like, oh, how am I going to do this? And then I realized that it was just a lighter color. So I've got this grey from Nails Inc. I'll put the colour details down below, and let me know if I do forget to do that. And so I started out with, I'm using clear stamper because I really need to be accurate in where I'm lining up the design, particularly because I'm overlaying, well, I will be overlaying some of the dark polish over the top of the grey polish. So I just started painting that out, and you'll notice the angle, so I've got sort of 45-degree angle for this grey part, and then I go and pick it up and just check that it came through alright, line it up to where I want it to be on my nail, so you'll see here, and then just push it down quite firmly. So other people use techniques of rolling. I have a tendency to smudge when I roll, which is why I go straight down, so it might be something that you just sort of find which technique works best for you and give it a go. So we'll keep going here, and this plate here is a Bundle Monster plate from the Halloween set from last year. And the thing I love about these really big stamping plates is that you can use elements from them, and same for little ones. So I had a little one that was a garden that I had originally planned to use for some of the tree aspects of this. But I decided that I could use the spooky trees out of this one and just sort of remove some of the edging. So you notice I'll end up covered in polish a little bit, where I've gone along and removed bits I don't want from the stamp, but that's alright, it's what nail polish remover is for. So moving on to the black, and here I'm actually using a proper stamping polish. It's a Conad Black. It's a bit of a staple sort of item for me. I've got a few polishes that I will always replace and get, just because they're the most commonly used colours and I tend to go through them. When I first bought Conad, I bought little ones of this. The black here is my first big one that I've actually gotten of the bottles, and it's because it's the most commonly used colour I use for stamping, because it also gets used for reverse stamping, and when I create the outlines and then go colour it in with a different colour, which you can use sort of any polish for, whereas the stamping polish does make a big difference. So here I've just popped in some base colour, so rather than painting it, I'm actually stamping it on, and you'll notice I've just picked up the edge where I've just missed it. So you can, you know, play with it, mix up the edges a little bit, as long as you haven't sort of damaged it too much. So there we go, there's another nail. So here's that tree that I was talking about earlier that I wanted to use. So just scrape along there and see how I've just got the edge there. So that's the best way I find, is try and use a minimal amount of polish. That way you can sort of minimize the amount that you're using. And you'll notice there I just use my finger just to touch it up a little bit. I have seen other people use like sticky tape, or I think it's more like the Scotch tape kind of stuff. But I'm not sure about using that on the stamper. I just prefer using my hand. It's a lot easier for me anyway, and I'm less likely to get the sticky tape on my nails, which would be something that I could definitely do. So here we go, and just rolling it across gently, picking up the image and lining up to where I want to. So this is another base that I'm pushing down, and you notice I'm pushing quite hard just to get around the edge of my nail. I'm not too worried. These stampers actually seem really strong. I've been using this one for quite a few months now. I bought a massive, I bought 5 of them, thinking, oh, they're really cheap and I'm just gonna, go through them really quickly, and I'm wondering if I've made a bit of a mistake now, because this one seems to be lasting a lot longer than my last, and it's doing really well. If you're interested in buying it, check out my link below to Beauty Big Bang, and this is also where I got the stamping mat that you can see in this video. They're just really good. The prices are great, and it arrived really quickly. Like, I've used some other suppliers, and I won't say who it is, but I've used other suppliers, and they've taken like 2 months for items to get to me, which is ridiculous. And there's been no communication of what's happening, and it was just horrible. Whereas with Beauty Big Bang, they were great, and the shipping time is quite short, so check them out in the link below. Anyway, so back to the nail art. So I'm getting towards the end of the last nail here, so I'm just scraping that bottom bit. And there's some really cool designs in this plate as well. I've got the details below of, it's got some like little rats that are running around as, yeah. So I didn't quite pick up that image there, but that's alright, so I'll just put a bit more polish on. Sometimes I'll find I have to clean the plate entirely and just start from scratch. And it's just, I think it's just a bit of polish that is dried up and it just can't pick up the image anymore. So that's what I ended up doing here. Just give a plate a clean for this last couple ones. The power of video can just magically clean your nail plates. So here we go, last one. And just push it down. There we go. And there's my design. So after a little bit of cleanup, and that's what you end up with. I have got a bit of glitter on there. It was really hard to photograph actually with the glitter on there. I wish I kind of left it off, but other than that, I'm pretty happy. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button with the notification bell, and keep an eye out for my other Halloween videos, and check out my playlist, and I'll see you next time. Bye.